The scream shattered the terminal like glass under a boot heel. "You people are ruining my life. Give me my goddamn flight or I'll sue this whole airline into oblivion." The woman, mid-40s with a peroxide bob and a designer purse clutched like a weapon, lunged at the gate agent, her acrylic nails slashing the air inches from the poor guy's face. Logan froze mid-stride, coffee spilling hot across his knuckles, as the crowd gasped, but he was already moving, heart slamming against his ribs like it knew this was the moment everything cracked open. She didn't see him coming until his hand, steady, calloused from years fixing engines in his uncle's garage, wrapped around her wrist mid-swing. "Ma'am, that's enough," Logan said, voice low but edged with the gravel of someone who'd stared down bar fights in rural Ohio dive bars. Her eyes bulged, wild and entitled, but the fight drained from her like air from a punctured tire when security swarmed in, cuffs clicking as they hauled the HOA Karen, as the viral video would later dub her, away for public disturbance, her shrieks echoing off the fluorescent-lit walls of O'Hare. In the stunned silence that followed, Logan's gaze locked with a pair of hazel eyes across the gate. Eyes belonging to a man who looked like he'd stepped out of a faded Polaroid from Logan's dreams. Tall, broad-shouldered, with sun-kissed skin and a crooked smile that hit Logan square in the chest, stealing the breath the chaos hadn't. Logan wiped the coffee from his hand on his jeans, the sting barely registering over the adrenaline buzzing in his veins. The terminal hummed back to life around him, announcements droning, travelers shuffling like zombies toward their gates, but those hazel eyes held him captive. The man, Jackson, as Logan would learn in the blur of the next 5 minutes, pushed through the gawkers, clapping a hand on Logan's shoulder with a grip that felt like an anchor in a storm. "That was ballsy, man. Most folks here would have just pulled out their phones and live-tweeted the whole circus." Jackson's voice carried a drawl, soft southern lilt wrapping around the words like kudzu on an old fence post. Up close, he was even better, early 30s, maybe, with a jaw that could cut glass and laugh lines etching the corners of his mouth like they'd been carved by years of easy grins. His flannel shirt hugged shoulders built from hauling hay bales or whatever passed for honest work down in Texas, and a duffel bag slung over one arm screamed road warrior, more than Logan's beat-up backpack ever could. Logan shrugged, heat creeping up his neck, not from the coffee, but from the way Jackson's thumb lingered a beat too long on his shoulder before dropping away. "Couldn't just stand there. Grew up watching my mom deal with types like that at the diner. Entitled folks think the world's their personal buffet line." He stuck out his hand, the one without the coffee stain. "Logan Hayes. From outside Cleveland." "You, Jackson Reed. Austin by way of everywhere else." Jackson's handshake was firm, warm, the kind that sent a spark straight up Logan's arm, settling low in his gut like the first sip of bourbon on a cold night. They both glanced at the departure board. Logan's flight to Denver canceled due to the winter squall ripping through the Rockies, Jackson's to Dallas grounded by the same mess. "Looks like we're both marooned. Buy you a beer while we wait for the next miracle." Logan hesitated, the old caution flaring. Small-town Ohio didn't exactly hand out rainbow flags with high school diplomas, but Jackson's eyes crinkled with that smile, and damn if it didn't feel like the safest reckless decision Logan had made in years. "Hell yeah. Lead the way." The airport bar was a dive pretending to be upscale. Faux leather stools, neon signs buzzing craft beers on tap, and a jukebox crooning some forgotten Springsteen track about highways and heartbreak. They claimed a corner booth, away from the harried families and suited execs tapping furiously on laptops. Jackson flagged the bartender, a grizzled vet with a ponytail and a tattoo peeking from his sleeve, and ordered 2 IPAs, the kind with enough hops to strip paint. So, Logan Hayes, Jackson started, leaning back with that easy posture that made the vinyl seat look like a throne. What brings a grease monkey from the Rust Belt to the mile-high city? Job? Girl? Escaping the snowpocalypse? Logan chuckled, tracing the condensation on his glass. Grease monkey. Spot on. He'd spent the last decade elbow-deep in carburetors at Hayes Auto Repair, the family shop his dad left him after the heart attack that folded him like a cheap lawn chair. But Denver? That was the dream. The itch he couldn't scratch. A fresh start. Maybe open his own place specializing in electric conversions. Leave the ghosts of Cleveland winters behind. Bit of both. Minus the girl. Job interview tomorrow. Some startup retrofitting old trucks for solar panels. Sounds pie in the sky. But hey, beats freezing my ass off under a hood while the lake effect dumps 6 inches overnight. Jackson nodded, something flickering in his eyes. Recognition. Maybe. Or the same quiet hunger Logan felt every time he scrolled Zillow for properties west of the Mississippi. I get that. Chasing reinvention. Me? I'm headed home for the holidays. Family reunion in Austin. Mom's got this tradition. Tamales from scratch. Lights strung up like the house is auditioning for Clark Griswold. But truth? I'm dodging my own storm. Ex left me high and dry 6 months back. Said I was too much of a free spirit for his 9-to-5 life in the city. The word ex hung there, casual as the beer foam, but it landed like a match in dry grass. Logan took a pull from his glass, the bitterness grounding him. No rings, no tells, just that spark. Undeniable now, crackling between them like static before a thunderstorm. Free spirit. Huh? Sounds like code for scared of your own shadow. My last situation ended 'cause he couldn't handle the small-town stares. Said loving me was like wearing a target on his back. Jackson's gaze sharpened, not pitying, but really seeing the weight Logan carried, the invisible scars from proms skipped and whispers in the high school locker room. Screw the targets. Life's too short for closets. Man. Even if they smell like mothballs and regret. He clinked his glass against Logan's, the sound muffled but solid. To reinventions. And whatever the hell happens next. They talked until the bar's last call warning blinked on the screens, stories spilling out like they'd been dammed up too long. Jackson regaled him with tales of rodeos gone wrong. A youth spent roping calves and dodging buckle bunnies who mistook his politeness for interest. Logan countered with Midwestern grit. Summers fishing the Cuyahoga. Winters snowed in with nothing but a stack of car manuals and his dad's old cassette tapes of Johnny Cash crooning about walking the line. Laughter came easy, the kind that loosened knots Logan didn't know were there. And when their knees brushed under the table, accidental, then not, neither pulled away. By the time the airline announced rebookings for dawn, the terminal had thinned to stragglers curled under coats like human burritos. Jackson glanced at his watch, then back at Logan, that crooked smile tugging wider. Couple hours till boarding. There's a quiet lounge upstairs, recliners, shitty coffee, but no screaming Karens. Crash with me? Logan's pulse kicked up, but it wasn't fear this time. Just the thrill of possibility, raw and electric. Yeah. Let's. The lounge was a half-lit limbo, vending machines humming, outlets charging forgotten devices, the faint snore of a businessman slumped in row 3. They claimed a pair of chairs by the floor-to-ceiling windows, the Chicago skyline glittering beyond like a promise of cities that didn't judge. Jackson stretched out, boots propped on an empty seat, and Logan mirrored him, their shoulders inches apart. The silence settled comfortable, broken only by the occasional crackle of the intercom. You ever feel like you're running from something, but you don't even know what it is? Jackson murmured after a while, staring out at the lights. His voice had lost its drawl, edged with something vulnerable, like cracking open a letter you weren't sure you wanted to read. All the time, Logan admitted, turning his head to meet Jackson's gaze. Up close in the dim light, those hazel eyes were flecked with gold, pulling Logan in like a riptide. Like no matter how far you go, the past hitches a ride in your rearview. Dad dying, the shop barely scraping by, coming out to folks who said they loved you but looked at you like you'd grown horns. It's all just baggage. Jackson reached over, his fingers brushing Logan's knuckles. Tentative, then sure, lacing them together in a grip that felt like coming home. Maybe we're both lugging too much. Or maybe we could share the load. Just for tonight. The kiss started slow, a question in the press of lips, but ignited fast, hands cupping jaws, breaths mingling with the scent of hops and clean cotton. It wasn't fireworks. It was a quiet explosion, the kind that rewires your soul without you noticing. When they broke apart, foreheads resting together, Jackson whispered, "Stay in Denver with me. Skip the interview. See where this goes." Logan laughed, soft and disbelieving, but his heart was already nodding yes. "Your trouble. Read. The best kind." Jackson grinned and pulled him back in. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving, the plane's engines whining as they taxied down the runway. Logan stared out the window, Chicago shrinking below like a bad dream fading. Jackson's hand found his under the armrest, thumb stroking circles that chased away the chill seeping through the fuselage. 6 hours to Denver, then Austin, worlds colliding, timelines blurring. But as the wheels lifted, Logan couldn't shake the whisper in his gut. Some flights you can't rebook. The descent into Denver was a jolt, clouds parting to reveal snow-capped peaks clawing at a sky the color of faded denim. Logan pressed his forehead to the cold glass, Jackson's warmth a steady anchor beside him. "Welcome to your reinvention," Jackson murmured, squeezing his hand as the seatbelt sign dinged off. But Logan's mind raced ahead, the interview suit folded in his bag, now irrelevant, the voicemail from his cousin back home, probably wondering why he'd gone radio silent. And Jackson, Austin-bound, family waiting. This wasn't a fling, it was a detour with no map. They spilled into the terminal arm in arm, the post-holiday crowd a blur of reunions and regrets. Jackson's flight was an hour earlier, a red-eye puddle jumper to Dallas with a connection south. "Come with me," he said again, over lukewarm airport burritos at a Formica table, his eyes earnest under the harsh fluorescence. "Mom's place has a guest room. Hell, the whole backyard if you want space. Skip the startup grind, help me fix up the old truck instead. Real work, real air." Logan chewed slowly, the spicy rice doing nothing for the knot in his stomach. Austin, Texas. The word conjured barbecues and big skies, but also Bible belts and sideways glances, the same poison that had chased him from Ohio. Yet Jackson's world felt different, painted in the colors of his stories. Starlit bonfires, two-step lessons in dusty barns, a family that baked pecan pies and asked few questions. "What about your ex, the one who couldn't handle the free spirit? You sure dragging a Yankee mechanic into your holiday chaos is smart." Jackson's laugh was a rumble, low and reassuring. "Darlin', He's ancient history. And you're no drag. You're the plot twist I didn't see coming. He leaned across the table, stealing a quick kiss that tasted like salsa and promise, ignoring the raised eyebrow from the couple at the next table. Say yes, Logan. 1 week. If it sucks, I'll buy your ticket back myself. The boarding call for Jackson's flight crackled over the speakers, a siren song pulling them apart. Logan stood, heart hammering, and nodded. Yes. God help me. Yes. The Dallas connection was a fever dream. Cramped seats, recycled air thick with pretzel salt and anxiety. Jackson dozed against Logan's shoulder, his breath even, while Logan scrolled job listings on his phone, backup plans, just in case. By the time they touched down in Austin, the sun hung low, bathing the tarmac in gold that made the whole world feel like it was holding its breath. Jackson's truck, a '92 Ford F-150 with rust-kissed fenders and a bumper sticker reading, "Keep Austin Weird," waited in long-term parking like a loyal dog. Logan slid into the passenger seat, the vinyl warm from the heater, and they peeled out onto I-35, windows down to let the hill country breeze whip through. Mesquite trees blurred past, dotted with longhorns grazing lazy under a sky streaked pink and orange. Jackson cranked the radio to some alt-country station, Willie Nelson twanging about lost loves, and sang along off-key, his free hand finding Logan's knee. "Home sweet chaos," Jackson announced as they turned off the highway onto a gravel road flanked by live oaks draped in Spanish moss. The Reed family spread was a rambling ranch house, white clapboard with a wraparound porch sagging under the weight of potted cacti and wind chimes that tinkled like distant bells. Smoke curled from the chimney, carrying the scent of chilies and corn masa, tamales, as promised. A cluster of cars dotted the drive. A shiny SUV that screamed, "Big Brother," an ancient station wagon for the cousins, and a Prius that Logan pegged as Aunt Somebody's eco-statement. Before Jackson could kill the engine, the screen door banged open, and a woman burst out, mid-50s, silver-streaked hair in a loose braid, apron dusted with flour. "Jackie, Lord. Boy, you cut it close." Flight delayed again. She enveloped him in a hug that lifted him off his boots, then turned those sharp blue eyes on Logan, appraising without judgment. "And who's this handsome stray you dragged in from the cold?" "Mom. Meet Logan Hayes." "Logan, my troublemaker of a mother, Rita Reed." Jackson's grin was boyish, proud. Rita wiped her hands on her apron and thrust one out, grip strong as a ranch hand's. "Pleasure, sugar. Any friend of Jackie's is family here. You'll wash up, dinner's hot," and Uncle Ray's already into his third margarita, telling war stories from Nam. The house swallowed them whole. Walls lined with faded photos, Jackson gap-toothed at 8, roping a calf. Rita and her late husband at a county fair, arms tangled like vines. The dining room table groaned under platters of steaming tamales, pozole bubbling in a crock-pot, cornbread golden and crumbly. A dozen reeds crammed around it, boisterous, overlapping voices debating politics and football, kids darting underfoot with sticky fingers. Logan hung back at first, plate balanced on his lap in the living room spillover, but Jackson pulled him into the fray, introducing him as the guy who saved my ass from airport Armageddon. Laughter erupted when Jackson recounted the Karen meltdown, Rita clucking her tongue. "Sounds like that busybody from the HOA back in 18, the one who called the cops on my Halloween skeletons. Entitled as a peacock. That lot." Uncle Ray, red-faced and merry, slapped Logan's back. "You got stones, kid." Reminds me of Jack here, standing up to the old man when he wouldn't let him quit football for art school. Art school. Logan filed that away, glancing at Jackson, who shrugged with a sheepish smile. Under the table, their boots hooked together, a secret tether amid the din. That night, after pie and too many hands of spades, Logan trounced Ray twice, earning a grudging "not bad" Yankee. The house quieted. Jackson led Logan to the guest room off the kitchen, a cozy nook with a quilt stitched from feed sacks and a window overlooking the pasture. No frills, but the bed's memory foam. Steal mine if it sucks. Logan tugged him inside, door clicking shut, and backed him against it with a kiss that tasted like cinnamon from the pie. Hands roamed, over flannel and denim, mapping collarbones and hip bones, but it stayed there, tender explorations that spoke more than skin could. "This feels real," Logan whispered against Jackson's neck, pulse fluttering under his lips. "It is," Jackson breathed, fingers threading through Logan's hair. "Scary real." Morning brought coffee black as tar and the low of cattle stirring. Logan woke to sunlight slanting through the blinds, Jackson's side of the bed empty but his pillow dented. Downstairs, Rita pressed a mug into his hands, eyes twinkling. "Heard you two giggling like schoolboys last night. Jack's been lighter than air since you showed up. Don't break his heart. Hear me? That boy's tougher than he looks. But he's got cracks." Logan sipped, the brew scalding his tongue. "Wouldn't dream of it, ma'am." The day unfolded lazy. Jackson showing him the barn, where he tinkered with a half-built sculpture, a twisted metal longhorn, welds gleaming like veins. "Dropped out after 2 years," he admitted, sparks flying as he torch-cut a curve. "Dad said it was a hobby, not a life. Took over the ranch after he passed. But this is me." Logan watched, mesmerized by the focus in his eyes, the way sweat beaded on his brow. "It's beautiful. You're beautiful." Jackson set the torch down, pulling him close amid the smell of hot metal and hay. "Stay. Build something here with me." But as they kissed, Logan's phone buzzed, a text from the Denver startup. "Regret to inform, the interview slot filled. Reinvention stalled." That evening, over brisket grilled in the backyard pit, the cracks Rita mentioned spiderwebbed. Jackson's brother, Travis, broad as a doorframe, with a realtor's polish, cornered him by the cooler. "Who's the sidekick? Jack? Some city boy you picked up? Mom's eating it up. But folks talk. Ranch life's no place for complications." Jackson's jaw tightened, but he laughed it off. "Logan's staying. Trav. Get used to it." Logan overheard from the porch shadows, heart sinking like lead. Complications. The word echoed all the old hurts. Night fell heavy, the guest room air thick with unspoken. Jackson slipped in late, shedding clothes with a sigh. Ignore him. Family's just traditional. Logan pulled him down, bodies aligning under the quilt. "I'm not running. But I need to know, this us? It's not a holiday detour." Jackson's eyes, gold-flecked in the moonlight, held steady. "It's the road I want to stay on. With you." They fell asleep tangled, breaths sinking like heartbeats. But in the dark, Logan wondered if roads always forked. The week blurred into a rhythm that felt stolen from someone else's life. Mornings with Rita's chorizo and eggs, afternoons knee-deep in ranch chores that left Logan's muscles singing. Jackson taught him to mend fences, the barbed wire biting if you weren't careful, and Logan showed him how to swap a timing belt on the F-150, grease smudging their faces like war paint. Evenings were bonfires in the pit, guitars strummed under stars thick as spilled sugar, Jackson's voice husky on covers of Lucinda Williams ballads that twisted Logan's heartstrings. But the idol frayed at the edges. Travis's barbs sharpened, a joke at dinner about Logan fixing more than trucks, met with Rita's glare but Jackson's forced chuckle. Whispers from cousins at the holiday hoedown, boots stomping to fiddle tunes in the barn, Logan catching fragments. Jack's phase, that Yankees trouble, and then the call from Cleveland, his cousin, voice tight over static. Shops underwater, low. Banks calling the loan. Need you back yesterday. Logan hung up in the tack room, fists clenched around the phone till plastic creaked. Jackson found him there, hay motes dancing in the slant of light. What's eating you? Reality, Logan spat, the word bitter. Your world's this bubble, beautiful, but it pops. Mine's a grease pit waiting to swallow me whole. Jackson stepped close, hands framing Logan's face. Then we pop it together. Sell the shop. Move the operation here. I've got land. You've got skills. We build trucks, sculptures. Us. The vision tempted. A life stitched from their seams. Logan under the hood of solar rigs in the barn. Jackson welding beside him. Nights wrapped in each other against the Texas chill. But doubt gnawed. Fed by the letter Jackson handed him next morning. A creased envelope from the mailbox. Postmarked Chicago. My ex, Jackson said, voice flat as he unfolded it. Elliot. Lawyer now. Big firm. Wants to talk. Says he made a mistake. Logan read over his shoulder. Flowery apologies. Promises of change. A plane ticket tucked inside like bait. What do you want? Jackson crumpled it, tossing it into the fire grate. You. This. But his eyes darted. A shadow crossing the hazel. And Logan felt the first rift. Hairline but there. Christmas Eve dawned crisp. The air spiced with juniper from the tree Rita had felled herself. The house swelled with kin. 30 souls crammed for midnight mass at the little chapel down the road. Then back for eggnog spiked heavy and carols belted off-key. Logan stood at the edge of the living room, ornament in hand, watching Jackson atop the ladder, star poised like a crown. Their eyes met, and for a heartbeat, the room faded, the judgmental aunts, the probing uncles, just them, suspended in tinsel glow. Later, in the quiet after gifts rustled open, a leather tool belt from Logan to Jackson, a sketch pad from Jackson to Logan. They slipped out to the porch swing. The night was velvet, crickets chirping hymns, a lone coyote yipping distant. Jackson pulled Logan against him, lips brushing his temple. Marry me. Not today, but someday. Make this permanent. The words hung, a vow wrapped in wonder. Logan turned, kissing him deep, tasting pine and hope. Yes. God. Yes. But dawn brought the storm, not weather, but flesh and blood. Travis, hungover and mean, cornered Jackson in the kitchen while Logan fetched wood. Voices rose, muffled through the door. Elliot called. Says you're throwing away everything for a fling. Dad would roll in his grave. Ranch to some queer drifter. Shut your mouth, Trav. Logan's staying. End of story. A crash, china shattering. Then Travis's laugh. Ugly. Staying till the novelty wears off. Like last time, Logan burst in. Logs tumbling. Travis smirked, gone before the words landed. Jackson knelt, sweeping shards, face pale. He's full of shit. Elliot was the mistake. You're the fix. But the seed planted, doubt sprouting thorns. That afternoon, while Jackson napped off the eggnog, Logan wandered the pasture, phone in hand. He texted the bank. Options for extension? The reply pinged fast. Sell or foreclose. No mercy. Dusk fell early. The family gathering for tamales under strings of lights. Laughter rang. But Logan picked at his plate, Jackson's hand heavy on his thigh under the table. Rita noticed, pulling him aside later by the sink. Travis is hurting, lost his wife last spring, drinks to forget. Don't let his poison touch you too. Wise words, ma'am. But what if it's already in? She cupped his cheek, flour-dusted thumb gentle. Love's like ranching. Storms come. You batten down. Jack's worth the fight. Night deepened. The guest room a sanctuary. Jackson entered quiet, shedding layers till skin met skin under the quilt. Their lovemaking was slow, reverent, kisses trailing spines, whispers of forever, but Logan's mind raced. Betrayal's ghost whispering. What if Travis is right? New Year's loomed, the family plotting a bonfire bash. Jackson threw himself into prep, hauling wood and stringing lanterns, but tension coiled in his shoulders. Logan helped, hammer in hand, but the call came mid-afternoon. Cousin again, desperate. Low, is bad. Equipment repossessed. Come home. He didn't tell Jackson, not yet. Instead, he drove into Austin alone, neon streets pulsing with revelers. A bar on 6th Street drew him dim, welcoming, rainbow flag subtle in the window. He nursed a whiskey, watching couples sway to a jukebox croon, envy twisting like a knife. The door swung, and there was Elliot, tall, polished, scanning the room like he owned it. Their eyes met, and Elliot approached, smile practiced. Jackson's friend? He mentioned you. Said you're important. Logan stiffened. What do you want? Him back. Us back. Elliot slid onto the stool, voice silk over steel. He'll tire of the rough edges. Always does. I can give him stability, city life. No stairs. The words landed like punches, echoing Travis's venom. Logan drained his glass, standing. He's not a prize. And neither am I. Back at the ranch, Jackson waited on the porch, worry etching his face. Where'd you go? Thinking. Logan sat beside him, the swing creaking. Elliot found me. Jackson's face crumpled. I didn't. I know, but the lie tasted ash. Later, in bed, Jackson's arms tightened possessive, but sleep evaded Logan, the rift widening. The bash ignited at midnight, fire roaring, beers clinking, fireworks cracking overhead. Jackson pulled Logan into the shadows of the oak, kissing him fierce as the countdown hit 0. Happy New Year, love. To us. Cheers erupted, but as embers died, Travis approached. Elliot at his side summoned the traitor. Surprise, Travis sneered. Family intervention. Jackson went white, fists balling. What the hell? Trav. Elliot stepped forward, hand out. Come home, Jack. Leave the fantasy. The betrayal hit like a gut punch, brother and ex, colluding. Logan stepped between, voice steel. Back off. He's made his choice. Travis laughed. Choice? This life's a dead end. Dad knew it. Why he pushed the ranch on you. Not art. Jackson shattered then. Voice breaking. You called him? After everything. The fire popped. Illuminating faces twisted in the glow. Logan grabbed Jackson's arm. Let's go. Now. They fled to the truck. Tires spinning gravel as Austin lights receded. Silence stretched. Broken only by Jackson's sobs, raw, wrenching. I'm sorry. God. I'm so sorry. Logan drove. Jaw set. Heart fracturing. Families supposed to protect. Not sabotage. Dawn found them at a roadside motel. Neon vacancy, flickering like a bad omen. Inside, the room smelled of bleach and regret. Jackson paced, words tumbling. Elliot's been texting for weeks. I ignored him, but Travis. He saw the pain, twisted it. Twisted, Logan echoed, sitting heavy on the bed. He brought him here. To break us. Jackson knelt, head in Logan's lap. It won't. I choose you. Every time. But the call came at noon. Cousin. Final. Shop's gone. Low. Auction tomorrow. Logan hung up. The world tilting. I have to go back. Alone. Jackson's eyes filled. No. We fight. Together means trust. Yours is poisoned. Logan packed. Bag zipped like a seal. Fix your family. I'll fix mine. If it's real, find me in Cleveland. The kiss goodbye was salt and sorrow. Jackson's plea hanging. It is real. Logan drove north. Texas flatlands giving way to plains. Radio silent. Betrayal's sting faded to ache. But love's echo lingered. A shadow in the heartland. Waiting for light. Interstate 35 stretched north like a scar. Mile markers ticking off the distance from Paradise Lost. Logan gripped the wheel white-knuckled. The F-150's engine, a steady growl under the radio's static-laced country dirges. Tunes about mamas and memory. Too close to bone. He'd left the truck with Jackson at the motel lot. A silent loner for when he came to his senses. But doubt gnawed, if. Ohio loomed. Gray and unforgiving. The shop's foreclosure a noose tightening with every state line crossed. Oklahoma blurred by in a haze of prairies and pumpjacks nodding like weary giants. He stopped at a diner off 44. Piecing through cold fries while a waitress with a name tag reading Darlene refilled his coffee. You look like hell warmed over. Huh? Man trouble? Logan managed a half smile. The American art of deflection kicking in. Family business. The kind that unravels sweaters. She nodded, worldly in her polyester apron. Been there. My boy came out senior year, small town, big mouths. We packed up, started fresh in Tulsa. Love's worth the yarn balls, but sometimes you gotta knit solo first. Her words stuck. A bomb on the raw. He texted Jackson, made it to okay. Thinking of you. Fix it. No reply yet. Space. Or surrender. The road answered in endless blacktop. Stars wheeling overhead as he pushed through the night. Neon motels blurring into dreams of hazel eyes and welding sparks. Cleveland greeted him with sleet slicing sideways. The Cuyahoga Valley a smudge of industry under sodium lamps. The shop squatted on the outskirts. Chain link rattling in the wind. For sale sign crooked like a broken promise. His cousin, Mikey, lanky, tattooed from his stint in the guard, waited on the stoop. breath fogging. Lo! Christ, you look like you wrestled a bear. Mikey clapped his back, pulling him into the dim office where fluorescent buzzed over stacks of invoices yellowed with neglect. Logan sank into the creaky chair, the ghost of his dad heavy in the air. Tools hung in precise rows, coffee mug still on the desk with its world's okayest dad scrawl. What's the damage? Mikey spread papers. Liens, back taxes, the bank's cold calculus. 40 grand to stall. Otherwise, auction at week's end. I tried buyers, but Rust Belt Blues, man. No takers. Logan rubbed his temples, Jackson's ringless finger ghosting his mind. I'll cover it. Sell the truck if I have to, no. Wait, the F-150 was Jackson's lifeline. Loan against the house? Mikey whistled. That's blood money. Auntie's place is all you got left. The house. Modest bungalow on a street of sagging porches, where Logan learned to change oil at 10. Came out at 22 to a dad who hugged him fierce despite the tears. Sold? The thought clawed. But love's cost, Darlene said. He nodded. Do it. Days bled into a grind. Calls to sharks in suits. Paperwork drowning him in legalese. Nights, the bungalow echoed empty. Logan's bed a vast plain where Jackson's absence carved canyons. Texts trickled. Jackson's first. Travis confessed. Elliot's gone for good. Miss you like air. Then photos. The sculpture finished. Longhorn rearing proud. Our future? Logan replied sparse. Heart guarded. One crisis at a time. Love you. New Year echoes faded. January's jaw clenched with ice storms that locked the city down. Logan shoveled the drive, breath puffing dragons, when his phone rang, unknown Texas number. Rita. Logan Hayes. You stubborn mule. Jack's a ghost. Barely eats. Welds till his hands bleed. Travis groveled. But boys' hearts in Ohio with you. Come back. Or send me a recipe for mending fools. Laughter cracked the cold. Ma'am, Rita. It's complicated. Shop's sinking. She huffed. Complicated's for soap operas. Love's for living. That Boyd walk coals for you. Don't make him. The line died, but her words fermented. That night, snow piling silent, Logan dreamed. Jackson in the pasture, arms open, but the ground split, swallowing him. He woke gasping, dialing before dawn. Low, Jackson's voice. Sleep rough. A lifeline. I'm coming. After the auction, if there's anything left. The words tumbled. Fear and fire. But we talk first. Real talk. No shadows. Anything. Everything. Jackson's breath hitched. I love you. The auction dawned brittle. A gray morning with wind whipping banners. Bidders huddled. Salvage yards. Hobbyists eyeing the bays like vultures. Mikey flanked him, but Logan stood alone when the gavel fell. Shop sold for pennies on the dollar to a chain that'd raise it for condos. He signed the papers numb, the echo of his dad's laugh haunting the empty bays. Driving home, the realtor's offer burned in his pocket. Bungalow for a song, cash quick. He pulled over at Edgewater Park, Lake Erie churning furious, and called Jackson. It's gone. All of it. Silence. Then, come home. To me. We'll build new, from scratch. Home. The word bloomed, thawing the freeze. February 1st. Book the ticket. But fate, that cruel jester, intervened. En route to the realtor, call Travis. Don't hang up. I'm flying up. Owe you an apology face to face. For Jack. For everything. Logan gripped the dash. Why now? Cause family's blood. And I poisoned mine. Let me make it right. Suspicion warred with Rita's wisdom. Tomorrow. Neutral ground, West Side Market. Noon. The bungalow sold that afternoon. Keys handed over with a hollow clink. Logan packed light, tools, photos. The sketchpad Jackson gave him half-filled with truck designs fused with metal art. Mikey hugged him fierce at the airport shuttle. Proud of you, 'cause Ohio's loss. The flight west was redemption's arc. Clouds parting over the plains. Sun gilding the wings. Austin sprawled below, alive with possibility. Jackson waited at baggage claim. Eyes red-rimmed but shining. Bouquet of wildflowers clutched awkward. A Texas twist on romance. They collided. Kiss fierce amid the bustle. No cares for stares. I fixed it, Jackson murmured into his hair. Travis confessed to Mom. Whole ugly mess. Elliot's blocked. Ranch hands know the score. You're home, but homecoming soured subtle. At the ranch, Rita enveloped him, but Travis lingered in the drive, hands shoved deep in pockets. Logan. Words ain't enough, but I was wrong. Grief twisted me. Jack's happy. That's what Dad wanted. Logan nodded, throat tight. Prove it. Every day. Nights healed slow. Jackson's hands gentle, mapping scars both seen and felt. They talked till dawn. Elliot's manipulations. Travis's loss. Logan's ghosts. Betrayal's a teacher, Logan said one morning. Coffee steaming on the porch. Shows what holds. Jackson traced his palm. And what builds? February bloomed fragile. Bluebonnets pushing through frost. They broke ground in the back 40. A workshop hybrid. Bays for Logan's conversions. Forge for Jackson's art. Sweat and laughter mingled. Progress tangible. Yet shadows lingered. A letter arrived, Elliot, unblocked somehow, pleading one meet. Jackson burned it unread. Done. Spring teased. But conflict brewed anew. A developer circled the ranch. Fat checks for the land. Travis's doing. Whispers said. Redemption's flipped to greed. Sell high, he urged at Sunday supper. Jack, you're wasting talent on dirt. Jackson's fork clattered. It's not dirt. It's us. Logan backed him. But doubt flickered. The workshop half-built. Logan's green card dreams stalled by bureaucracy. Was this solid? Or sand? Climax brewed in April rains. Thunder rumbling like judgment. The storm hit Friday. Skies bruising purple as Logan welded the workshop's frame. Sparks hissing against fat raindrops. Jackson hollered from the house. Supper steaming on the stove. But Logan lingered. The metal's glow a false sun. Travis's pitch echoed. 10 acres prime. Subdivisions. Pools. Legacy. Not liability. Rita shut it down. But the seed rooted. Travis's eyes hungry. Saturday cleared to mocking blue. Family gathering for the workshop's informal christening. Beers cracked. Rita's lemon bars sliced. Cousins milled. Admiring Logan's solar rig prototype. A 78 Chevy Reborn Electric. Sleek lines married to Jackson's etched panels. Art on wheels. One ant breathed. And pride swelled in Logan's chest. Jackson's arm slung casual around his waist. But Travis arrived late. Developer in tow, slick suit, briefcase gleaming. "Just talk," he insisted, cornering Jackson by the forge. Logan overheard from the bay. 50 mil split 4 ways. College for the kids. Retirement for mom. Your artists, live free, not chained. Jackson's voice rose. Chained? This is freedom, Trav. You sold your soul for a cul-de-sac. The developer chuckled. Oily. Son, progress waits for no man. Sign, or watch it bulldozed anyway. Logan stepped in, wrench in hand like a scepter. Out. Now. Travis's face twisted. Hurt, then fury. Always the outsider, stirring shit. Jack, he's poison, dragging you down. Enough! Rita's shout cut the air. Apron twisted in fists. This land's blood, not bucks. Travis Reed, you're done meddling. The party limped on, but fracture lines spidered. That night, rain lashing windows, Jackson paced the bedroom, shadows dancing wild. He won't stop. Called the county zoning loopholes. We fight, but Logan pulled him to the bed, thunder rumbling a chord. We will. Lawyers, petitions, whatever. This is ours. But morning brought betrayal's blade. A notice slipped under the door, official seal glaring. Eviction threat, eminent domain. Travis's signature as consultant. Jackson crumpled it, face ashen. He sold us out. To them. Rage boiled, hot and holy. Logan drove to Travis's tract house McMansion, pounding the door till it flew open. Travis stood there, rumpled in a polo, eyes defiant. It's business. Lo. Family first, providing, not pretending. Pretending. Logan lunged, fist cocked. But Jackson's truck roared up, gravel flying. He burst out, yanking Logan back. Don't. He's not worth the ink. Travis sneered. See? Violence. That's your influence. Jackson's slap cracked sharp. Travis reeling. You betrayed blood. For what? A pool and a pony? Sirens wailed distant. Neighbors call. And they fled. Hearts pounding. Back at the ranch, Rita waited, face carved stone. I knew his greed, but this. Pack. We're going. Ma'am, Logan started. Rita, she corrected. I steal. And we're not running. Meeting the lawyer Monday. But tonight, we hold. The storm returned, fiercer, lightning fracturing sky. They gathered in the kitchen, Rita, Jackson, Logan, candles flickering over tamales reheated cold. Stories flowed. Rita's courtship in a 72 flood, Jackson's first weld at 12, Logan's dad teaching him to fish the polluted river clean. Laughter pierced the gale. Bonds reforged in gale-force truth. But midnight told betrayal deeper. Jackson's phone buzzed. Elliot, voice slurred on voicemail. Travis reached out. Said you're crumbling. Come back. Real life awaits. Played accidental. The room froze. You kept his number? Logan's voice cracked. Small. Jackson paled. Blocked. But voicemails linger. I swear. Rita slipped out. Door soft. Alone. The air thickened. Accusations unspoken. Travis isn't the only poison, Logan whispered. Doubt is. And you let it in. Jackson reached, desperate. No. I choose. You say that, but actions. Logan backed away, rain sheeting windows like tears. I left everything for this. For us. If trust's conditional. It's not. Jackson's plea broke, knees buckling. Elliot's ghost past mistakes. You're my now. My always. Thunder crashed, lights flickering out. In darkness, Logan knelt, hands finding Jackson's face. Then prove it. Cut the cord, all of it. Family. Land. Start clean. Jackson nodded, sobs muffled in Logan's shirt. I will. For you. Dawn broke drowned. The lawyer's office a fluorescent bunker. Rita's friend, sharp-eyed Latina with a stack of precedents, outlined the fight. Injunctions, community support, media spin on family versus greed. Winnable, she said, but costly. Heart, not just wallet. They left armed, stopping at the county clerk for Travis's disavowal. Papers signed. His face crumpling as Rita witnessed. Silent condemnation. Forgive me, he begged. Time, Jackson said, hand in Logan's. Earn it. The drive home wound through wildflowers nodding defiant. Radio humming a Dylan track about blowing in the wind. At the ranch, workers idled, bulldozers parked. Orders reversed by the notice. Victory tasted tentative, but real. Weeks blurred to battle. Petitions circulated at the feed store. Locals rallying with signs, Save Reed Ranch. Logan converted a loaner truck for the cause. Solar-powered with a banner. Power to the people, not the suits. Jackson sculpted a protest piece. Twisted wire homestead. Unbowed. Climax crested May Day. Town hall packed shoulder to sweat. Developer drone slides of progress, cookie homes, strip malls, but Rita rose, voice steady as oak. This ain't numbers. It's roots. My husband broke his back here. My son his heart forging dreams. Take the money, lose the soul. Applause thundered. Jackson squeezing Logan's hand under the bench. Travis testified last. Voice cracking. I chased security. Betrayed kin. Don't repeat my sin. The vote swung nay by a landslide. Cheers erupted. Strangers hugging. The hall alive with Heartland hymn. Outside, under cottonwoods budding green, Jackson pulled Logan aside. We did it. You did. Logan kissed him soft. World fading. Know us. But victory's afterglow cracked that night. Package arrived. Elliot's. Forwarded. Inside, letters, photos. A ring box empty but for a note. Yours if you return. Jackson burned it in the pit. But Logan's eyes shadowed. You're still doubting, Jackson accused. Flames reflecting pain. Not you. Me. Am I enough? After all this, Jackson cupped his face. Fierce. You're everything. Yet the rift pulsed. Emotional quake building. Summer settled sultry. The workshop blooming full. Logan's bays humming with commissions. Farmers' trucks gone green. City slickers classics reborn. Jackson's sculptures shipped east. Galleries buzzing about the Texas troubadour. The ranch healed. Fences mended. Travis tentative. Sundays at the table. Stories shared without barbs. Rita watched approving. Her braid grayer but eyes brighter. Yet Logan's ache festered subtle. Nights when Jackson stirred. Murmuring Elliot in sleep. Ghosts unbanished. Subconscious. He swore mornings over coffee. But trust's thread frayed. pulls turning to snaps. July 4th scorched. Fireworks planned modest. Family picnic. Then sky bursts over the pasture. Logan grilled ribs. Sauce tangy sweet. Laughter easy as beer flowed. Travis clapped his back. "Oh you, man, for not quitting on us." "Family," Logan replied, the word fitting now. Earned. Dusk painted lavender. Blankets spread for the show. Jackson leaned into him, head on shoulder. Fireflies winking conspirators. "This us is the dream I chased." Logan kissed his temple, heart full but whispering warning. The first rocket whistled, bursting red, white, blue, reflections dancing in Jackson's eyes. But mid-bloom, his phone lit, unknown, insistent. He silenced it, but Logan glimpsed. "Travis." "Answer," Logan urged, gut twisting. Jackson did, face draining. "What? No, how?" Travis's voice leaked tinny. "Panic. Accident. Developer sued, counterclaim. They're taking the land anyway. Liens from my deals. It's over." The sky exploded, but joy shattered. Jackson bolted, Logan trailing to the truck. "Drive," Jackson barked, dialing Rita. The house loomed frantic. Papers strewn. Court summons. Travis's forged signatures on side deals. Greed's final stab. "He played us," Jackson roared, fist slamming desk. All the groveling stall tactic. Sold parcels under the table. Rita wept silent. Logan pacing circuits. "We fight." Again, but exhaustion hollowed them. Courts dragged August. Hearings in airless rooms where suits dismantled Travis's lies. Deals inked pre-apology. Betrayal premeditated. The judge ruled partial. Ranch core saved, but fringes lost. Bulldozers chewing edges like termites. Travis vanished post-ruling. Note on the mantle. "Can't face the ruin. Gone to make it right. Forgive." Austin to who knew. A ghost in his wake. Fall stripped leaves. Winds whispering loss. Jackson withdrew. Forge cold. Sculptures stalled. Logan coaxed with touches. Talks. But the man he loved dimmed. Betrayal's eclipse. One October Eve. Harvest moon fat. Logan found him in the pasture, staring at the scar of cleared land, stumps like broken teeth. "It's gone. Lo. All of it." "Not all." Logan wrapped arms around, chin on shoulder. "We built more." Jackson turned. Ice shattered glass. "But at what cost? You left your life. For this mess. For you." Logan's voice broke. "Worth every mile." Silence stretched. Moonlit. Then Jackson knelt. Ring from his pocket, simple band. Silver etched with longhorn curves. "Marry me." Not despite the ruins for them. Build from ash. Tears tracked Logan's cheeks. "Yes. Always yes." Winter wheeled in gentle. Wedding small. Courthouse. Rita matron of honor. Mikey flying east as witness. Vows exchanged under mistletoe. Rings sliding true. Travis's shadow loomed. Postcard from Wyoming. Working ranches. Mending. "Love you all." Forgiveness deferred. But door cracked. Spring 2026 green tentative. Workshop thriving. Jackson's art show in Marfa selling out. They adopted a stray mutt. Named him Hayes after Logan's dad, who would have grinned wide. Doubts dissolved in dailies. Mornings tangled. Evenings planning expansions. Solar Co-op. Sculpture Trail. One night, stars pricking velvet. They lay in the bed of the F-150, now Logan's Daily. Solar humming quiet, fireflies tracing halos. Remember O'Hare? Jackson murmured, fingers laced. Karen's meltdown. Your smile. Logan chuckled. Best chaos ever. Jackson propped on elbow. Hazel gold in moonlight. From betrayal to this. Human mess. Ha! Beautiful mess. Logan pulled him down. Kiss sealing truths. Years folded. Kids came via surrogate. 2 boys with Jackson's drawl and Logan's green eyes. Ranch echoing their chaos. Travis returned. Uncle halting. Redemption in small acts. Fence mending. Bedtime tales. The Heartland held them. Scars woven into strength. Love's quiet triumph over tempests. In the end, it wasn't perfection, no tidy bows on grief's packages. But in the American sprawl of second chances, Logan and Jackson stood unbroken. Hands clasped against the wind. Shadows fled to light.